I define linguistics, I would like to talk about how the study of language has been an important discipline or an important research endeavor for scholars throughout history. The study of language has been of interest to philosophers, sociologists, different social scientists, and people specialized in humanities. But the term linguistics is a relatively new one. The discipline itself is a relatively new discipline. Linguistics is different from traditional approaches to grammar in three different respects. The first one, linguistics is rather descriptive. It deals with language as it is. It describes language as it is, while traditional grammar used to prescribes the rule of correctness upon the use of language. Number two, the other respect in which linguistics different from traditional grammar is that linguists tend to prioritize the spoken form of language rather than the written one, because traditional grammarians they used to think of written form of language as more important than the spoken language. So linguists now think that spoken language is as important as written one. The other aspect in which linguistics is different from traditional grammar is that linguistics do not tend to force the rules of other languages, more prestigious forms of languages, on the language they study. So previously, traditional grammarians, they used to force English into the framework of Latin. Now, this is not the case now, because linguists, they believe it is better to study language as it is. And each language has its own logic, has its own system, and it is impossible for linguists to force the rules of other language upon the language under study. So these are the main three differences between linguistics and traditional grammar. Now we should define the term linguistics in a more scientific way. Linguistics can simply be defined as the systematic study of language, a study that deals and describes with language in all its aspects, and tries to formulate theories as to how language functions. Now this is the definition of linguistics, but we still need to define the subject matter of linguistics, which is language. We need to know what is language, and we need to define a language in a more scientific way. Language is different from non-human communication system in terms of the arbitrary relation between the sign and the message it conveys. Unlike non-human communication system, with language, the signals used in language is not meaningful by itself. It is the way these signals are arranged that makes the meaning of language. So the arbitrariness of language is very important, because this feature distinguishes language from any other non-human communication system. And to define arbitrariness is that the relation between the sign and the message of the sign is unrecognizable, unlogical relation between the two. The other feature that is very important to differentiate between human language and non-human communication system is the need for learning. Unlike animals, humans cannot acquire language without learning. They need rather a long process of learning to acquire the first tongue, the mother tongue, while animals tend to use the language without even the need for learning. The other features that is very important is duality. Duality means that the signal itself has no meaning. It acquires meaning by the way it arranged with other meaning in a more structured way, in a more patterned way. So the duality feature is very important, because it leads us to the other feature, which is creativity. Because with the duality, for example, in English we have 44 different phonemes, but we can express millions of words in English because we can use these, we can arrange these 44 different phonemes in so many different possibilities to generate different words. The other more important distinctive feature of a human language is creativity. Creativity is very important because it enables humans to produce unlimited number of utterances, unlimited number of sentences that have never been heard of. So this is very important, which is also a distinctive feature, which makes human language different from non-human communication system, which most animal species they use a very limited number of messages. They can express very limited number of messages to express themselves and to express their needs, while humans can express unlimited number of sentences and utterances. The other important feature of a human language is structure dependency. All human languages are structure dependent. It means that without some sort of structure, the linking these words and sounds in human language together is impossible. Finally, it is very useful to think of language as a game of chess, as expressed by the Swiss linguist Ferdinand de Saussure. He believes that language can be best described as a game of chess in which a lot of units, a lot of pieces can use with each other, and these pieces acquire their meaning in terms of the relation between the piece and the other pieces, the position of the piece in relation to the other pieces. So structure dependency means that each single unit within a language, whether a phoneme, a word, a sentence, etc., has its meaning. This unit acquires its meaning by means of its relation to the other units. This is what I mean by structure dependency. That would be all for today, and I hope that you enjoyed this lecture, and I hope you find it very useful. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in other lectures.